everyone. Thank you for joining me at the Life Coach University and the Pay It Forward program, where all we ask is that you pay this kindness forward and then share your story with the folks at Coach University at hello@lifecoachuniversity.com. I'm Chris Weals. I'm your host for this webinar. I am a life coach and the founder of Rebel with a Purpose. If you want to get a hold of me, if you have any questions, if you want a copy of this recording after, you can email me at chris@rebelwithapurpose.com, or you can find me at rebelwithapurpose.com at my website. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the root causes and solutions to emotional suffering. Now, I am personally no stranger to suffering. I have dealt with my fair share of anxiety issues, depression, trauma, guilt, and shame stemming from that trauma, some low confidence and self-esteem issues throughout my teenage years and earlier in my adulthood. And I have done a lot of work to get better. I had a very strong desire to not suffer from these things, and so I started getting help. I worked with therapists and coaches, and I read countless self-improvement books and books on spirituality, and I have done a lot to ease my own suffering. And I'm not perfect yet. I still do suffer from time to time, but I have made a ton of progress, and I've learned a lot about the causes of my own suffering and therefore the suffering of others. And I've learned how to ease my own suffering a great amount. And so now I feel called to share that with you and help others to heal, to grow, and to thrive. So what is suffering? How is that different from pain? Pain is something that's unavoidable. It happens when we are physically injured or emotionally when we experience something like loss, and it's normal. It's natural. It's part of how we heal. When we experience pain, that's our body's way of telling us, hey, there's something to pay attention to. Let's work on that. Let's begin the healing process. And so suffering is something that actually magnifies our pain and prolongs it. And suffering, it comes from at its core, the one thing that causes our own emotional suffering is resistance. And resistance shows up in different forms, and I'm going to get into some of these forms of resistance, but really at its core, suffering comes from the resistance of pain and all other forms of reality. When we resist pain or anything else in life, what happens is we experience internal conflict, and it's not natural, it's not healthy for us, and that conflict creates stress and then disease within us. And so to elaborate on this, I'll get into the different forms of resistance, and so you can start to recognize that in yourself, in your own life, and the experiences that you have. And then I'll go into some ways that you can actually bring awareness to what's going on and how you can alleviate some of your own suffering and possibly help others as well. So one of the major ways that we resist what is when we're dwelling on either the past or the future. And when we do this, we're not present with our thoughts. So if we're dwelling on the past or the future, and we're either sad about it or worried about it, and this is a recurring chronic issue, we're resisting the present moment, and that resistance creates anxiety, which is typically worrying about the future, and or depression, which is typically worrying about something that happened in the past. And the thing is, we can't do anything about the past or the future, because all we have is this present moment. So that's one way, is when we keep our minds fixated on the past or the future and not in this present moment. And I'll get into how to alleviate some of these issues later on. First, I want to touch on the major forms of resistance which lead to suffering. Another category I have together is judging, comparing, and grudge holding. And what this is a resistance of the acceptance of who we are and where we are in our life, and who others are and where they are along their journey in life. And these are, so judging ourselves and judging others, really it leads to a lot of internal stress and discomfort and disease. And the same as, so like when we compare ourselves to others, that's a huge joy killer in life. Like that's a great way to bring ourselves down and to feel lousy and to suffer. And then grudge holding, again, is another one. If someone has done something to hurt you, if you've done something to hurt someone else and you haven't forgiven them or yourself, you're going to suffer from that. Another is blaming, complaining, and excuse making. And this one is all about the resistance of accepting the fact that you are 100% responsible for yourself. No one else is coming, no one else is responsible for your well-being, for your joy, your happiness. And so when we are blaming, complaining, and making excuses, we're giving our power away. We're giving our power to other people, to our circumstances, to situations, and we're not taking responsibility. And when we don't take responsibility, we don't have our own power, and we can't do anything to fix it. So that ultimately leads to our own suffering. Another one is having expectations and attaching ourselves to results. So attaching our well-being to results that we get in life, or and expectations on their own, I don't think are bad. But when you have an expectation that people meet your expectations of them, that's when you can start to get into trouble, because you can't control what other people do. And so if your well-being is dependent on other people's behavior, you're going to suffer. So what's going on here is you're trying to control what you have no control over, which is other people's behavior and results that you get from your actions, and then also resisting to control what you do have control over, which is your own response to the world around you, your own thoughts, your own behaviors. Finally, a major form of resistance is feeling disconnected or separate from others in the world, which leads to loneliness, which is one of the ways we tend to suffer as adults. And the resistance there is of ultimate reality. So in reality, everything and everyone is made up of energy, and science backs this. It has for a very long time. And so we're all made up of the same stuff, which means we're all connected. Everything and everyone are all connected. So the ultimate reality is that we're not separate, we're not disconnected. We are one with all. We are individual expressions of energy, but we're all energy, and we are all connected. And so when we can remember that, that really helps to ease our suffering. So this might be a very spiritual thing, and maybe you're not a spiritual person. Maybe you don't believe in a higher power. I do. I believe that energy is also love, or God, if you will, and that we're all connected through God. We're all made of love. We're all made of energy, and that's the reality. And when we don't remember that, when we forget that, or don't know that, then that's when we are suffering and feeling lonely. Sometimes you feel it as maybe an emptiness inside, or a void that there's like something missing in your life, and that is the understanding that we're all connected. There is no alone. So these these are the things that I understand are at the root of all of our emotional suffering. At this point, I would like to get your own take on that. Maybe like, what do you have any thoughts, any questions, anything to add to that before I move forward? If you do, awesome. I'll speak to that. If not, then I will go ahead and move forward and get into the things that we can do to alleviate and ease our own suffering. And I don't see any. Oh, let's see. Let me pull up the chat. Feeling the same. Lots of growth done and much to do. Awesome. Thank you for that feedback. And all right, so the very first thing, and one of the more powerful things we can do, is bring awareness to our lives. So a lot of times throughout the day, we're just on autopilot, where we're not fully aware of our thoughts and everything that we're thinking and feeling, and sometimes even saying and doing. And so what we want to do is just start paying attention to what's going on with our thoughts first, because that's the beginning of how we create our experience in life. So really, in particular, start paying attention to when you're in resistance mode. What's coming up for you that is painful, or something that you don't want to experience in your life, and that might even just be the present moment. Maybe that your brain feels like that's too much to handle, so you escape to the past or the future, or you hide with a bottle of booze, or maybe drugs, or TV, whatever it is. Escaping it really makes it worse. It makes the pain and the suffering worse than what it really is. And so, as hard as it seems, and I know it is hard, I've had a hard time myself throughout life facing the pain, but the way to recover, the way to heal is to face the pain. It's to work through it. It's to allow it to be there and know that the pain is there to help you. It's not going to kill you. You can handle it. And then to start investigate what's causing it and what you can do to help yourself heal from it. Then to ultimately give yourself whatever you need. Maybe that's just to spend some time breathing, relaxing, or maybe you need a break. Maybe you need to just have some downtime, or a vacation, or whatever that is. Start to nurture yourself. One way that you can help remember how to deal with emotional pain and work through it is to remember the acronym RAIN. RAIN stands for recognize what you are feeling and name it. So if you're feeling stressed out, fearful, worried, maybe what you're feeling is anxiety. So you can name that. I feel anxious. And then what you want to do is allow it to be there, because it's there for a reason. It's telling you something. The third thing, the I, is investigate what that reason is and what you can do to help yourself heal from it. And then finally, N is nurture yourself. Give yourself whatever it is you need to heal and recover and ease your pain and not spiral down into suffering. So secondly, meditation. This is something I talk a lot about and I practice daily, and I've received the benefits from it, and I'm a huge fan, and I can't speak highly enough about daily meditation. And what meditation is for me is it's a tool that helps me learn how to focus on the present moment. So the benefits are great while you're meditating. It's very relaxing and calming, can lower your blood pressure, can help you to feel better in that moment. But the benefits carry on outside of the meditation practice when they help you to remember to stay focused on the on the present moment, instead of getting caught up, worrying about the past or the future and spiraling into depression or anxiety. And so, and just real quick, I want to just give, if you're new to meditation, if you haven't tried it, if you think you can't do it, I just want to give you a quick like how to. So all you have to do with meditation is either sit or lie down or stand. It doesn't really matter. It might be most helpful to sit while doing it, but do this for 5 to 20 minutes once or twice per day. I like to go 15 to 20 minutes personally, but it doesn't have to be that long. You can really get a lot of benefit from 5 minutes. And really what you want to do is focus your attention on your breathing or on some kind of a mantra, which is just a word that you repeat in your head, like Om, or it could be love or gratitude, something like that. And you just keep your attention focused on that. And what's going to happen is your thoughts are going to wander and you're going to start thinking about other stuff. And at some point, you're going to realize that that's happening. And what you want to do is just bring your focus back to your breathing or to your mantra, and then just keep doing that, because it's going to happen over and over. And what's going on when this is happening is it's training your brain to recognize that and to focus and to bring your attention back to the present moment. And this is a great tool for helping you in life. It's helped me in work meetings and just in conversations with family and friends, just to be more present and to stress less about the past and the future. Meditation has done a tremendous job for me in reducing the effects of anxiety and depression in my life from doing this daily. So remember, just don't judge yourself. Don't be mad at yourself. Don't beat yourself up for your thoughts wandering. That's going to happen. It happens to everyone. It's always going to happen. Just whenever you notice it, just bring your attention back to your breathing. That's it. And then just do that, and try to stay as relaxed as possible. All right. Another thing along the same lines, and I do this mostly like in addition, or like while I'm meditating. Sometimes I will practice affirmations and visualizations. And what these do is help you to change your view about yourself and about your life. They can get you to start thinking differently, like basically reprogram your brain, and to help paint the picture of a brighter future for yourself. And so what you can do with affirmations, this is what I've been doing, and this has helped me in a lot of ways, is like start deciding who you are, like who you want to be and how you want to show up for yourself and for everyone in your life. And this isn't about judging yourself and like beating yourself up for how you've been. And really, it's just like who do you want to be? You get to decide that. Are you somebody who is patient, kind, loving, successful, wealthy, generous, compassionate? Who do you think of yourself as at the highest level? What values do you have? What's most important? How do you want to treat others? How do you want to be treated? And start telling yourself these things every day. I do this 2 to 3 times per day, typically while I'm meditating. And what happens is the repetition. It's important that you do it multiple times per day and do it every day, because the repetition gets to your subconscious mind, and it starts to reprogram your brain. You start believing these things about yourself, and then you start speaking and acting accordingly. And then visualization, it does similar things. So you can visualize yourself having more successful interactions with people. Maybe visualize yourself doing different work that's more rewarding, or like living a lifestyle that is more enjoyable. Start to visualize it, and then practice feeling how good it will feel when you actually have that life. And do this in addition to your meditation and affirmations, and this will help you. Again, it'll reprogram your mind. It'll help you to think the thoughts you need to think and feel the way you need to feel, to start taking the actions you need to take to actually create that life for yourself. So it really works wonders for getting yourself on board with what it is you actually want. And it's all about reprogramming your subconscious mind to help you achieve that. Um, Now, the third or fourth thing that I have for helping you ease your own suffering is to really get on board with the idea that you are 100% responsible for your own well-being and 0% responsible for the well-being of other adults, unless you are a caregiver for someone, that's different. But when it comes to people's happiness, their joy, their own emotional well-being, it's really it's up to each person. So no more blaming, no complaining, no excuse making. Um, Stop judging yourself harshly, stop judging others harshly, no more comparing yourself to others. We're all on our own path in life, right? So that it's not a race, it's not a competition. So comparing yourself to others doesn't do you or them any good at all. So the best you can, drop that out of your mindset. No more keeping up with the Joneses. No, remember that this one helps me, like, to remember that we're all just children here. We're learning how to walk. So it's okay to be compassionate for ourselves and for other people, to be kind, to be understanding that we're all just trying to figure this game of life out, and we're all far from perfect. We make mistakes. And so, like, to be understanding and forgiving and compassionate, um, and this like that's really helpful. The next is to, like, learn to pause before reacting emotionally and defensively. And this is a big one for me right now. This is something that's a big focus of mine, because that's still something that I have a little bit of challenge with. If somebody is speaking to me in a way that I don't like, or they say something or do something, I have a hard time not reacting emotionally. And so that's a big focus. And I know I will figure it out. I'll get there. I will make improvements in this area through intention and practice. And so one thing that is helpful is to remember that everything people do or say is either an act of love or a cry for help. So if you know that they're maybe being mean or hurtful, it's because they're hurting. It's and that, also know that they can't hurt you, um, because you're responsible for how you feel. If they say something that upsets you and hurts you, it's because of what you make that mean. So if they call you stupid, that's not hurtful by itself. But if you make that mean that you're stupid, then that's going to hurt you. But if you make it mean that they're just hurting and acting out of that hurt, then it doesn't have to hurt you. And so that's completely up to you. And so you can actually show compassion when people are being mean. And that's a great way to ease your own suffering. Um, Now, forgiveness is another one. I talked about holding grudges and how detrimental that can be. So um, do this for yourself, not for the person who wronged you, but forgive quickly and easily and completely, because it's the best thing you can do for your own well-being. Um, they don't have to apologize. They don't have to even be sorry for you to forgive them. And now this isn't easy. And this is something that I have worked on a lot myself. I've had to forgive myself for things in the past, and then I was holding grudges against one or two people from my past as well for things that were done, were not done, and that was just, it was hurting my relationships. It was hurting me, and so I had to learn to forgive. And it doesn't just happen when you say I forgive them. Maybe it does, but not necessarily. And so what I've learned is that I have to keep repeating that. I have to keep practicing forgiveness. And so if something comes up with a person and it reminds me that I haven't forgiven them, and I go back to, okay, I forgive that person, I love them, they meant me no harm. They acted out of their own hurt, or like, which is, they did the best they could with what they had and where they were in their own life, and just keep doing that. And I have come a long way, and I have forgiven myself, and I currently hold no grudges. And this is something that has alleviated a ton of my own stress and suffering in my life. This is something that you could practice as part of your affirmations and visualizations. So that could be something to add in and just help you. I can't really say this enough. Forgive. Do it quickly, easily, and completely, and it'll make a huge difference in your life. Finally, I want to say that the quicker you learn to accept your reality, and the quicker you learn to stay present and realize that life is happening for you, for your own benefit, and not to you, that you're not a victim in life, that everything is for your benefit, and that you are responsible for yourself and for your own life. And finally, the quicker you learn to forgive and to learn from failures and mistakes and things that might be seen as negative in your life, the quicker you could do all of these things, the more joyful you will be, and the less that you will ultimately suffer in your life. So that is all I have for you. If you have any questions for me, anything you want to add, please feel free to drop a comment or a question in the chat. If you want to come on and have a conversation with me, maybe do some live laser coaching, I'm open to that. Just raise your hand. So Anonymous says, I want to say how much sense this makes. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. This stuff, I share it because it has been tremendously helpful for me in my life. And I just feel called to share it with others because I think it can be helpful for others as well. So I really appreciate you saying that. It takes a lot to put myself out there and jump online and share this stuff with others, but I really enjoy doing it. I hope that it's helpful. Thank you for your appreciation and your kind comments. All right, with that, I will just thank you again for joining me. I hope that you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving for those of you in the States, and for those of you outside of the States, if you celebrate an autumn festival or a harvest festival, I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed yours as well. And again, my name is Chris Weals. I am a life coach and the founder of Rebel with a Purpose. You can reach me at chris@rebelwithapurpose.com. And again, I'm doing this through the Life Coach University and their Pay It Forward platform, which is so beautiful that they're doing this, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And again, really, like, if you got something good from this and you feel called to pay that kindness forward, and maybe just do something kind for someone, smile at someone, help something with something, please do that. And then again, if you feel inclined to share that with the good folks at the Life Coach University, they would be happy to hear your story. And you can email that to them at hello@lifecoachuniversity.com. Again, thank you all for joining me. I hope you got a lot out of this, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Take care.